A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashing Sani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Headline inflation decreases by 9 decimal points to 5.5% in October 2020 from 6.4% in September 2020. ADB approves $165 million loan to assist SME sector in Sri Lanka with long-term financing to underserved SMEs led by women and tea smallholders. News in detail. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena stresses that the government is in the process of setting up the domestic committee of experts to examine allegations of war violations during the conflict between the government and the separatist liberation tigers of Tamil Eelam. Thus, he made these observations in Parliament today, joining in the debate on the allocations for the Ministry of Foreign Ministry, State Ministry of Regional Cooperation and Ministry of Media.
As Foreign Minister representing Sri Lanka, I spoke before the United Nations at Geneva Human Rights Commission this February, Honourable Speaker, and withdrew Sri Lanka from the co-sponsorship for the Resolution 3011 and thereafter. What I would like to quote is, "Me katavedi mama Human Rights Commission ege idiriye in Geneva." I quoted from Right Honourable Lord Nesby's statement on the confidential papers of the British government which are available today, and where all these numbers had been refuted by him, factual evidence by British authorities, and we keep on trying to say that our forces have committed these unprecedented, unsubstantiated figures that are being floated against our country. We have rejected that. This is a book, Kathanayakatumani, Lord Nesby, that has come up with all the papers. Sri Lanka, Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained. Mama Belua, me Jatika Parliament, me Pustakali, me Pota Diyanadi kela. Me Pota nahi.
Joining the debate, Jaffna District Parliamentarian M.A. Sumandiran posed a series of questions to the government related to withdrawing the co-sponsorship from Resolution 30/1 and others adopted after 2015.
The Minister read out the letter sent in February this year claiming to withdraw from the co-sponsorship of Resolution HRC 31. All of us know that you can't withdraw from an act that is already done. The Minister was heard to say in this House that that co-sponsorship happened without the knowledge of anyone, not even the President at that time. I want to ask a question. If that be so, how did Sri Lanka co-sponsor Resolution 34-1 and 41 several months thereafter, both of which were merely rollover resolutions of 30/1? I want to pose another question. On the 29th of July 1987, Sri Lanka entered into an international bilateral agreement with India, commonly known as the Indo-Lanka Accord. Various speakers in this House at various times say various things about this agreement. Would you have, Mr. Foreign Minister, would you have the courage to write a letter to India like you did to the UN Human Rights Council and withdraw from the Indo-Lanka Accord? If you don't, and you haven't done that, over several decades of your party in office, you must honor it. In your letter in February this year, too, you say there will be a domestic mechanism. Where is it? Several months have passed. Where is that? Where is that plan? For 11 years, you fooled the world. Now for 11 months or so, you have fooled the world.
Thereby, Education Minister G.L. Pieris added that bringing forward the allegations on war crimes of our soldiers in the Parliament at present day is not necessary since they have been exonerated by many foreign subject experts.
There was also a very critical finding by Queen's Counsel of the eminence of Sir Desmond de Silva, Sir Geoffrey Nice, Rodney Dixon. These findings completely exonerated the armed forces of Sri Lanka from any form of culpability or guilt with regard to war crime under principles of international humanitarian law, international human rights law. I want to stress that the mechanisms we evolve, if they are to aspire to any measure of success, must necessarily derive from the aspirations of our people. This is because of the importance of context with regard to these matters. The government of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, fortified by an unrivaled mandate obtained from the people of this country at both the presidential and the parliamentary elections, has an unflinching resolve to address these issues in earnest. The government has both the moral and the legal right to the space to do so. And we ask for empathy and understanding as we move forward in partnership with the international community to assure to our people a stable and prosperous future.
The central bank states that the headline inflation as measured by the year-on-year change in the National Consumer Price Index has decreased by 9 decimal points to 5.5% in October 2020 from 6.4% in September 2020. Meanwhile, food inflation decreased to 10.6% in October 2020 from 12.7% in September 2020, whereas non-food inflation increased marginally to 1.5% in October 2020 from 1.4% in September 2020. The change in the NCPI measured on an annual average basis remained unchanged at 6.2% in October 2020. Monthly change of NCPI recorded at 0.1% in October 2020. This was mainly due to increases observed in prices of items in food category such as big onion and rice during October 2020. However, prices of fresh fruits and fresh fish recorded declines during the month. Further, core inflation decreased to 4.5% in October 2020 from 4.8% in September 2020, while annual average core inflation decreased marginally to 4.2% in October 2020 from 4.3% in September 2020. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $165 million loan to Sri Lanka to provide instant financing assistance for small and medium enterprises which have been brutally affected by the coronavirus pandemic and long-term financing to underserved SMEs, including businesses led by women and tea smallholders. The statement says that the financial support is critical for SMEs to revive their businesses after the pandemic, which account for over 45% of total employment and 52% of gross domestic product of Sri Lanka. Thus, new financing will build on the ongoing small and medium-sized enterprises line of credit project, which ADB approved in 2016 to strengthen SMEs' access to finance, and the project is co-financed with a grant from the G20-led Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative since 2018 to promote women entrepreneurship. The new loan will introduce a new credit line co-financed with a $1.25 million grant from the Japan Fund for Poverty Reduction to promote capital investment by tea smallholders. A supplemental $1.75 million technical assistance grant from JFPR will build tea smallholders' financial literacy and capacity to access financial services and develop policies to promote value chain development for the Sri Lankan tea industry to strengthen its international competitiveness. ADB has approved a $20 billion expanded assistance package in April to support its developing members' COVID-19 response. Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne states that the Indian Ocean that harnesses vital sea lines of communication linking the East and the West is considered to be the gateway for the seven seas, and that Sri Lanka, being part of this strategic ocean mass, has a major role to play in the Indian Ocean as never before. Defence Secretary expressed these observations while delivering the keynote address as the chief guest of the Colombo Conclave 2020, the inaugural national conference held at the Foreign Ministry yesterday. The inaugural national conference, Colombo Conclave 2020, was organised by the Institute of National Security Studies, Sri Lanka, the premier think tank on national security under the aegis of the Defence Ministry. This year's conference was held virtually under the theme of Comprehensive Security Paradigm for Sri Lanka, bringing 12 local scholars together to discuss the thematic issues which play a dominant role in maintaining the national security. The Defence Secretary, Major General Kamal Gunaratne, added that the matters that emanate through fisheries, marine pollution, search and rescue responding to oil and chemical spills, poaching, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, and protection of marine species, etc., have become significant issues that we have to keep our eyes open. During the session, it was further noted that the environmental security has been neglected over the economical desires for centuries, and the bitterness of repercussions will be laid upon the future generations. Foreign Ministry Secretary and Director General INSSSL Admiral Professor Joynath Columbage delivered the welcome address at the outset of the program, and Secretary of Ministry of Environment Dr. Anil Jasinghe, Health Ministry Secretary Major General Dr. Sanjeeva Munusinghe, Acting Chief of Defence Staff, Tri-Forces Commanders, Inspector General of Police and many other subject experts joined the virtual conference. Sri Lanka's hospitality sector had another addition of a new luxury resort as the Hilton Group commenced the operations of its third hotel in Sri Lanka. The Hilton Group announces that the new property was developed with an investment of 4 billion rupees, and at the completion of the second phase, the investment would be a 6 billion rupees. The newly built resort Doubletree by Hilton Veeravilla Rajavarna Resort is owned by KDU Adventures Private Limited and joins Hilton Colombo and Hilton Colombo Residencies as the third hotel to be managed by Hilton in the country. Doubletree by Hilton Veeravilla Rajavarna Resort is 3-storied and comes with 78 luxury rooms. The resort is located 25 kilometers from Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport and just over half-hour drive from Hambantota Port District, an up-and-coming commercial zone in the south of the country. The resort is only uniquely situated within the Veeravilla Bird Sanctuary, which is home to over 400 species of birds and just minutes away from popular tourist attractions such as Katharagama Sacred City, Boondala and Yala National Parks. Doubletree by Hilton Veeravilla Rajavarna Resort offers exceptional dining experiences through its 2 restaurants and 3 bars featuring panoramic views of the tranquil Lake Veeravilla along with diverse menus. We'll be back with stock updates after this short break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 54.13 points to close at 6,141.79, and the S&P SL 20 gained 16.2 points to close at 2,416.18. Turnover was 2.4 billion rupees and over 88 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. With that, we are winding up today's news. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.